All right, y'all. We are back with another episode of Sista Sitdown, and I'm even more excited about this week's sit down because I have another family member, y'all. I just got so many women in my family who are really just bosses. This week we are featuring Maya Carithers, and her business, Modern Artistry, and as we jump into tonight's topic, I love starting out the conversation with who is Maya? Please let us know who you are. And you don't have to go surface level, you can go deep. You can even tell us your real name. So let's start there.
I don't know about the government name though, but hello and thank you for having me. So that is a deep question though. Who is Maya? Well, for starters, I am a 26-year-old entrepreneur in Charlotte, North Carolina. And kind of just who I am. For right now, I feel like I'm in the process of kind of like paving a way for myself, for my future, for my business, and just kind of taking on the world one day at a time, day by day, and just trying to create like a safe and secure space for myself and others like me. I'm not as like, I'm very introverted. So kind of in this business, it takes a little bit to be, extroverted, but I just kind of have that sense of always just kind of caring and putting my best foot forward. So just kind of who I am is just a Black woman in America, getting it together every day, every single day.
Period. And we love to see it. And so with a little bit about who you are, tell us about your business first, and then what kind of services do you offer?
So I guess my business, so being a licensed esthetician, it would be kind of categorized under beauty services. So pretty much what I offer, I do lash extensions, lash trainings, facial treatments, basic and advanced. I do chemical peels. I offer skincare plans for my clients, whether it's in the suite or virtual. I also do body treatments such as like back facials and firming treatments. Other than that, that's pretty much all I really offer. But kind of in estheticians, with aesthetics, we can go into waxing and body contouring and stuff like that. But my main focuses are lash extensions and facial treatments.
Okay, awesome. All right, and so with getting into that, because at one point that was kind of new, I guess, for our family, to have somebody to enter into that realm. And so what experiences have you had as a brown skinned girl that led you to becoming an esthetician?
So for me, just kind of like growing up, really kind of like high school, college, everyone was on YouTube looking at YouTube influencers and pretty much just following whatever they were doing. If it was hair care products, natural hair, going out buying, whatever they were saying they use for skincare, whatever they saying they use. And just kind of like, for skincare, it's not one size fits all. You have to do something that caters to your skin, that's tailored for you. And for me, kind of just with that, I've also noticed just in the beauty industry, there's not many that cater to us, if that makes sense. And just kind of like with schooling and just all of that, it's always the standard is, white folks. That's the standard. We have to be taught separately how to cater for African-American skin, ethnic skin. So that's just kind of something that threw me out there, because I'm like, well, we deserve that luxury too.
Period. And that is definitely seen as a luxury, like with people taking care of themselves and like skincare. And like people are very reactive instead of proactive in their skincare regimen and treatments. And when you were talking about like the YouTube thing, I mean, when I first went natural, of course, you know, you got all these women who are like natural hair gurus, and I went natural in 2010. It was kind of like the movement when everybody was going natural, girl. They'd be like, put an egg in your hair, put a banana in your hair.
Yes.
And I'm up here washing my hair out with mixing shit up in the kitchen. Now I got damn banana pieces and egg pieces in my hair.
Avocado.
And avocado. And I'm up here smelling just like a damn cake. And again, looking back, not a lot of people had any really professional any professional expertise in any of this. It was just happening on YouTube. And because we were seeing them on YouTube, it was like, yep, I gotta do it. It's on YouTube. We gotta be true. Not really understanding that at the time anybody could have been on YouTube. And so right, that's a whole nother thing. Anybody can be on YouTube, but girl, my little questions then went out. Okay. And so another thing that you brought up was that in high school and in college, you were able to see, you know, certain people on their journeys. And what I admire most about your journey is that you kind of did your own thing. I know like our family, they are very, I want to say traditional in a sense. It was like the girls, they got to do this. Meanwhile, you know, the boys, it didn't even matter what the hell they were doing.
Anything.
Our brothers, our uncles, our boy cousins, they got to do whatever the hell they wanted to do.
Yes.
Whole time, family had the girls in a chokehold. And so growing up, all I heard was college. You got to go to college. You got to do this. You got to go to college. And so that was one of the main reasons why I went to a 4-year university. That's how I ended up at UNC, because my family just made me feel like that was the only way, you know. And grandma, she only had an 8th grade education, but she still instilled in her girls to go off to school, go to college. And so, with you kind of did your own thing. It wasn't, you know, graduation, let me go to a 4-year university. It was you going into what it is that you wanted to do, like you knowing. So you knowing exactly what you wanted, how did that influence the trajectory of your business now?
So I kind of knew what I wanted, but I kind of didn't. So like you said with college, I went to a community college, and I just got my associates of arts. It wasn't necessarily my plan. My plan was always to go to a 4-year, but life, you know?
Right.
So, and I was completely fine with just taking the community college route. And then I just so happened, you know, lash extensions has been a thing kind of for like a time, but it started to kind of get well known. I want to say maybe like 2015, 16, 17, around there. And so I kind of just started seeing it, and I'm like, lash extensions, like, what's that? I'm used to just putting on strips and keep calling it a day.
With
but
the hair glue.
With the hair glue. Right. And it's like, you put it, you know, lash extensions, it's individuals. And I'm like, what is that? So, but I saw, you know, kind of just people kind of bringing that out. And I'm like, okay, that might be something I would want to like try. I want to see, you know, interest in, and just kind of do something on the side. And so I took a course for it. And I took a course, and I immediately was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. So 2018, you know, the course that I took, it, you know, taught me the basics, but it didn't really give me the knowledge. And so while I'm sitting here, I'm doing it, I'm taking, you know, working on family and friends just to practice. And I'm like, okay, let me look more into it. So when I look more into it, for lash extensions, you have to be licensed in the state of North Carolina you can either do cosmetology or aesthetics. And I'm like, okay, so I have to have a license to even do this, you know? So I was like, okay, well, it was something I really wanted to do. So once I found that out, I researched the schools that I needed to go to. As soon as I found one, the school that I wanted to go to, I took a tour, and the next day I signed up and gave them my money, and I said, I'm ready. When's the next class? You know? So, and for that, it was 600 hours to get licensed in aesthetics. And so I did that. I went on a journey, and I was just kind of like, this is what I want to do. I want to be my own boss. I want to be an entrepreneur, and I want to make other people feel, beautiful in their own. People for us, like, that look like us, have them a safe space for their luxury. And so that's just kind of what gave me the push, because I'm like, the beauty industry is always growing with new treatments, new everything really. And I just want to make sure that it's somewhere, a space that's catered for us.
Right. And what I love about that is, okay, so you say you kind of figured out what you wanted to do after you took your first course. And I think now people look at the Maya now, at the modern artistry now. And I know this isn't on the questions, but I want you to talk about your beginnings. Because again, when people look at entrepreneurs, and especially somebody, they can look at you being young at 26, all they see is, oh, she got her studio, oh, she has this, oh, she has that, when they don't know the behind the scenes. So can you talk about how you converted that front room and literally the start that helped you build to now?
Yeah, okay, so definitely was working out of the front room of the crib for sure. And also again with that, a lot of people do work out of their homes, and it's considered, it falls under mobile, like working mobily. But again, state of North Carolina, we can't do nothing in North Carolina, obviously. They so right, we can't work out of our homes to provide services. So realizing that, I mean, yes, I still did it for a while, because the clients that I were taking, I trusted them and I built a rapport with them. So I researched and I was like, okay, let me go find a suite. And this was honestly such on a leap of faith, because when I went to school, I stopped taking clients. So 600 hours, I think I went to school for 6 months. I wasn't taking any clients. I took all of my clients that I had and sent them to other estheticians and lash techs. So no clientele. And, coming back. So when I graduated, coming back, trying to get that clientele was harder because, they moved on, which completely fine. Some people came back, some people didn't. But I kind of went out on a leap of faith and just decided to open a suite with pretty much no clientele whatsoever. And so I'm sitting here like, how am I going to pay the rent on this building? Well, not building, but the salon suite. And I'm like, how am I going to pay the rent? So the location I found was kind of in a upper area of Charlotte, the South End, South Park area. So of course, rent is very, very expensive over there. And it was weekly rent. So I decided to sign like a 6-month lease, and I was just like, all right, I'm just going to go out on a leap of faith. And I was like, if I have the suite, then I have the means to make it what I want, to be able to brand myself further from that. Right. So did that. And, I started to gain newer clientele, and it kept me afloat. It kept me where I needed to be to keep paying what I needed to pay to stay there. Right. But before I did that, COVID had hit. So I looked for a suite, I want to say the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I was supposed to move in April of 2020, but COVID hit. So I didn't move in until June of 2020 when they opened everything up. And so I was over there for 6 months and just kind of doing it week by week and just building clientele. And then I moved to another location that was monthly, and still I got more clientele, but still not enough. And what I feel like people, they see entrepreneurs and they're like, oh, they're making all this money. But it's like, honestly and truly, we probably won't see profit until a year, maybe 2 years into being into business. Right. Nothing, the prices I set, yes, we set prices to cover what we should have, but that doesn't necessarily go to the business owner. So a lot of people are like, oh yeah, they're making all this money, but it's like, I wish, I'm
Yeah,
really
right.
rich.
In my
And
mind.
don't forget taxes.
Right. Right. And I had to get a professional tax person last year
Hmm.
because it was the first, 2020 was the first year that I did entrepreneurship full time.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's so many elements and pieces that people don't really understand. They just see you, they just see
Hmm.
you cute, and they just see entrepreneur, and they like, she
The
rich.
business,
She
yeah.
she do lashes. She got it. And they
I,
don't understand how much it takes. And one of the reasons why I started with when I started with It Works, I had no previous really business experience, but at the time it was low startup costs. So
Mhm,
for that one-time investment that I made, I got 2 websites, I got 2 apps, I got the products I needed. I literally got everything to build a foundation. And then I was
mhm,
like, oh, this isn't that bad. And then when I started my journaling business, I had to buy the domain. I had to buy the website. I had to buy, if I thought about it, I had to buy it.
buy it.
Like,
Exactly.
if an idea came in my head, I had to buy it. And so I'm using the money that I'm making from It Works to try to fund this business. And then I still need the money from It Works to keep funding It Works. And so it was
Yeah.
just like I was digging myself in a hole, but the only thing that I kept hearing from people was, must be nice. Oh,
Hmm.
you got it made.
Hmm.
Oh, and it's just like, I'm out here, I'm drowning. And it's just me.
Give me a lifeboat,
And
something.
give me a
Save me.
lifeboat, help.
Save me.
And because our generation, as far as like us, me, you, Sade,
Mhm,
even Bubba and us who are we new to this, KK, like we're the first generation of entrepreneurs in our family. And so there's still a lot of things that we are learning ourselves and we have to teach ourselves. And it's just like, we are the people paving the way. So there are a lot of things that we didn't know because I'm pretty sure when you first started, you was like, "Oh, I'm about to get my clients, and this
mhm.
gonna be easy breeze. I got my suite, it's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all I need." And
And
so
like
it's
expense,
not like that at all,
expense.
right?
Inventory, every
It's
month,
just
inventory.
every month, and it's not like that at all. And so you're sitting there looking at yourself like, my God, what the hell? And I think we both took a leap of faith because we both left our jobs.
Hmm.
So this was something that again people think that it's like, oh, she working full time, it must be nice. It's like every step of that way has been led by faith.
Yeah.
And great thing about us is that we do have a support system. So we have a great family who loves us, who supports us, and who really is there when we need them to be. So I'm very grateful for that because I already know. If not, girl, me and May would have been in somebody's shelter.
Because
So
there are days, I'm telling you, there are days where I'm like, maybe I can give me a little part-time work from home job. Like, give me
girl,
something, just something. But
to help,
yeah.
right. But with that, what are 3 things you wish you knew before you started?
Kind of so like what we were just talking about, the business aspect behind going solo to be a solo entrepreneur. Because sometimes a lot of people out of school, they'll go work, and what they want to do. So if they want to do waxing, they'll go work at a wax place. If they want to do lashes, they'll work at a lash place. If they want to do
Mhm.
facials, they'll go and work, just kind of under somebody. And I was just like, I don't want to work under nobody. So I just kind of wish I knew more so the business and marketing aspect, kind
Mhm.
of just behind it. That's one. Another thing would be like people say, it's always like these marketing aspects of being a 6-figure esthetician. Well, that's gonna
Mhm.
take some time.
Right.
I thought I was about to be out here and be 6 figures like that. No, it's gonna take some time, definitely. And just kind of getting, like we said, all the works in together, especially like if you're, filed for your business, whether it's LLC, sole
Mhm.
propriety, you know, taxes, figuring out the taxes aspect, because more than likely your first couple years will be paying back. So
Mhm.
it's gonna take the time. And then just kind of like the third thing is finding your niche. And more so, not everything you do will cater to everyone out there. So like every client out there is not going to be your client. Whether you do facials and they get facials, it still might not be, it might not work out, or that just might not be your clientele. So I just feel like finding your clientele, or more so just finding like what you want to do and how you want to brand yourself, and you focus on that specific clientele.
Mm-hmm. And I do with that part. I think people start a business like I'm on Facebook and they're like, if I start a business, who gonna support me? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, baby, that you can have all these people saying, yeah, go for it. But when
Mm-hmm.
you start doing what you're doing,
They
those
not,
same people might look at you and be like, oh, I don't need them services, or
yeah, I don't like how they do those
right,
services, or they might give good services, but their professionalism is terrible. So
right.
that
And so
all
there are
that
a lot of
plays into
things.
it.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that go into um the whole business
Mm-hmm.
world, the business aspect of becoming an entrepreneur, especially an entrepreneur who is learning along the way, who is teaching themselves. And it's like, yes, you can invest in all those courses, but you still have to be the one to do it. Like you
Do
have
the
to,
stuff.
yeah, you have to do the work, because again, you can sit down with 7 6 figure estheticians,
Yeah.
but that don't, you know what I'm saying? Like you still have to be your clientele. They not about to be like, hey y'all, come to Maya. Like you still got to go ahead and
And
grind. And
even if
so,
they do, you might get 2, 3,
right, 2 or 3,
maybe 4.
because and that's because they trust them. So they're like, let
Yeah.
me go check Maya out. But they
Mhm.
still have they people they faithful too. So it's all about being willing to put yourself out there and finding your niche and understanding that a lot of clients that you're gonna get are gonna be strangers. Like
Yeah,
people who
completely.
support you are going to be strangers.
Completely.
Strangers. People don't understand that part. They get mad at their family and they like F them.
Mhm.
Like they ain't support me. But it's like that just wasn't my thing to support right now. Like
Mhm.
now I'm pretty sure even though our family is supportive, not everybody has bought a product from me. Not everybody has bought a journal. And I know not everybody been up there to get their lashes done, because our 60-year-old aunts is ain't finna be laid up with
For
no
that
20
long. Uh-uh.
bling bling bling.
They can be like,
Girl, I
are
can
we
see my
done
mama
yet?
neck.
Are you
Girl,
gonna finish?
my mama in herself, girl, by herself. That's I can already see it. But that doesn't mean that when we're out having conversation, my niece, she do lashes, she in Charlotte.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about that type of support too. So you finding your niche again really allows for people to support you in multiple ways, which
Yeah.
again truly grateful for. And so my next question is, so one of the things that like we were talking about with clients is people may support you, but one of the things that might be an issue is price. For
Mhm.
example, with us with It Works, we do something called a 90-day challenge. So for 3 months, the customers are able to get the products and then they try them 3 months. They can switch them out, but the goal is for you to become consistent within those 90 days. And so what people will do is, I don't want to do the 90 days, but I want to lose 150 pounds. Well, how this supposed to work, baby? Like, what habits are you trying to build within the next 2 weeks or within the next 30 days that's going to allow for you to get your end goal? So a lot of people don't see price as a preventative, you know what I'm saying? Like like it's something that they like an investment. Let's say that, like an
Yeah.
investment. And so how do you, or what advice would you have for women who are starting out, who are trying to figure out what their prices are, what they should be, and being able to be confident and stick by them?
So for that, I would say definitely with like your pricing. Hey Diego, you done came in here.
Yeah,
um, so just kind of with your pricing, knowing your worth,
yeah.
and never being ashamed for what you're charging, because at the end of the day, that's your knowledge, that's your expertise, and what you're giving is a whole service, a whole luxury. So for trying to figure out your pricing, you want to make sure you're not ever undercharging yourself. You want to set your prices based on, your overhead costs and what you're going to get from that. So you need to know how much your supplies cost, how much it takes to do the service, how long is the service, and just kind like Do you see him? Just trying
Girl,
to,
anyway, move Diego. Girl, your mom gonna be so happy. She was like, oh, Diego was on the internet.
and so, just trying to, kind of setting yourself up to that you won't be in the red for whatever you do. And it's better to start off with what you want to charge rather than saying, oh, I'm gonna charge $50 just to get people in, because then that's all you're gonna attract are $50 people, clients for a service that's in the hundreds, really. So what I will always say is, have your set price of what you want to charge. And of course, as you get more knowledge and, each year you want to raise your prices, maybe $5-10. So you don't want to do anything too drastic, but just kind of set the price and then just say, hey, I take clients. Well, I'm taking models for such and such price, a discounted price, but this is the price of the service, because it's easier to do it that way than just say, oh, I do $50 sets. And then in 6 months, you're like, okay, the set is $100. They're going to be like, well, what you mean $100? It's definitely, I always just say, know your worth, charge your worth, add tax, and make sure you're going to make a profit from it and never kind of sell yourself short.
Period. Thank you, Maya, for letting them know. And I like how you were saying, like, don't do anything too drastic, because there are some people who will start off their businesses and it's like, oh, I charge, 30, 45 to get you in the door. And a lot of times when you find somebody, it's within your budget, right? So it's like, if I meet you and you start off at 50, it's like, okay, I can spare this 50. And then as soon as, you get invested and you loving it, by you, like you said, within 6 months, it's like $170. You like,
oh. Yeah. I'm like, what? How can you do that? It's the same thing you was giving me 6 months ago.
Literally, like, man, what's happening? And so by you already kind of setting that bar and then giving yourself a gradual increase over time, and those, like, that will increase the longevity of your clients, because it's like, okay, she, she does a great job. And like, yeah, okay, she went up $5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, she went up $10. Okay. But it's a very drastic jump from that 50 to that 100 plus within a matter of months. And so, just you being able to speak on that, I really appreciate that. And my next question was, so what advice would you have for other Black women who would like to do what you do or follow in your footsteps?
My advice to these beautiful Black women is to always, always, always research. Do your research in everything that you're going to do, from top to bottom, front to back. And at the end of the day, support your fellow, estheticians or whatever business that you would be going into. That is also your support system. That's your networking. Those are your people. So to always, for me, myself, my services, I go to some of the girls I went to school with, Black women, and I support, other Black businesses for hair, lashes, massages, waxes, everything like that. They are my fellow people. And, they're always going to have your back at the end of the day. You can always go to them for advice, swap services just to get a feel for things, but never burn bridges with your people like that. And as far as like your research, know what you want to do, where you want to go, especially when it comes to schooling, because for any of this, you have to go to school for it. Whether you want to do cosmetology, that cosmetology, they pretty much fall under, they do hair, but they can also do kind of pretty much everything else as well. As far as like lash extensions, if they want to do facials, they would have to get a aesthetics license as well, but they're pretty much the umbrella corp of it. So definitely just kind of know where you want to go and longevity of things, and just always make sure you're networking, because networking is literally the best thing you can do. Word of mouth is where you will get majority of your clients, majority of everything is word of mouth.
I love that. And especially the piece about not burning bridges and staying close to your network. I think a lot of people see women in beauty as, especially in your industry, as a competition. So it's like, oh my God, mine just opened up a lash shop. Oh no, like, oh. And I think that's what any industry really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, and instead of seeing it as an opportunity to, okay, let me connect with this person, let me figure out how we can level up together, because
Together,
it's
yeah.
so much easier to level up in numbers versus you trying to do it on your own, because I'm pretty sure you know somebody who could help a friend or two, and they know somebody who could help you.
Yeah.
So it's all about whatever industry you are in, just continue to make those connections, and like you said, not burning any bridges. Let me tell you, when I left teaching, I set them bridges ablaze, bitch. They was they can kiss my ass. Literally, I set them bridges ablaze. But now that I'm older, looking back, you can always be like, oh, I could have handled things a little bit
Yeah.
differently. But I'm stand on it.
Stand on
I'm gonna stand
it.
on it. But moving forward, I know how to handle people and situations to where it's like, like we ain't gotta burn this for us to continue to have relationship. I can cheer you on, you can cheer me on, because at the end it's enough for us all at the top.
That's exactly. And it's not a competition. Like whether somebody's doing the same thing you're doing, it's too many people in this world to think you're going to get all that clientele. It's
Right.
enough money in this world to not be competitive with the people who are in your space, who are in your group. And just like you said, you can help each other out. Like some people come to me when they get services and they're like, oh, do you know somebody who does hair and massaging? And I'm like, yeah. They're an esthetician too, and they might be, and I wouldn't feel bad if they like stopped coming to me for facials and they went to somebody else, because that somebody else might be closer. I could be 30, 45 minutes away and that person could be 10 for them. So it's definitely important just to kind of keep all of that and never feel bad when, someone goes to someone else, or because you never know anybody's circumstances.
Right. And not taking it personal. Like, I think when we started businesses, it's like, I know I'm in the beginning, I just took everything so personal. Like, oh my gosh, she did not buy my products. Oh my God, they didn't get in the journal. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And the reality is, it's like the people who are meant to support you, they're going to support you. The people who are meant to be there, they're yours. Like, it's already written. Like, it's nothing to where it's like you have to go, you do have to do the work, but anybody you lose wasn't meant to be yours anyway. They may have connected with you to teach you something, to show you something, to connect you to somebody else, but not everything is forever. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, a bad entrepreneur. It just meant that it just wasn't meant to last forever. And I think once you realize that in business, things are able to move a lot freely. Like, you're happier when you're running your business, because you're not counting the clients. Like, you're just letting them come to you, because I had 10 yesterday. Damn, what I'm gonna do today?
I'd be like, I was booked this month. What's going on with this month? Right. But they'll come. They will come.
They will come. So that's a great thing to make sure that people know. Because when I started, again, it was very much like, if you don't support me, you against me, because that's what I mean. I don't know. I see people go out and buy and do whatever it is that they want to buy and do. So I felt like, oh, if you ain't buying to do with me, it's a choice. But there are times where some people don't have it. There are times where they might have promised somebody else something. And I know for me personally, like if 10 of my friends do lashes and nails, it's like, let me make my rounds,
Yeah.
Maybe I ain't made it to you yet, but I'm always being willing to refer, being able to network and share and just cheer you on from afar. That's the best thing you can do for somebody who you can't financially support in that moment. So my next question before we wrap this up, and this wasn't even on the list, but what have you learned about yourself throughout your entrepreneurship journey? And I like to ask because for me, when I started with It Works, you probably don't know this, but I was a hot ass mess emotionally. I just left my relationship. The whole family know about that. I had just left my relationship, and so I was just all over the place. And so throughout my time being connected with the company, I just was able to start pouring into myself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and really like dive deep, like really start to get to the root of those generational curses that our family has been able to carry throughout all these years. And so now I'm at a point where it's like I'm not who I was 3 years ago. I'm not going to be the same person next month, next year, next month, but I'm also trying to pave a different path for me. And so I've been able to unpack all of that just from my own personal experiences through entrepreneurship. So with you, what have you learned about yourself? And then based on what you learned, like how are you going to continue to move forward?
I definitely agree. I feel like for me, it's taught me a lot of patience with myself, and others, definitely, and
Mhm.
to kind of get to the root of situations rather than just like surface level responses.
Right.
And it's definitely kind of like taught me just how to take care of myself. And like you said, you're not the same person that you were then, and you won't be in a couple months from now. And I feel the same way. I feel like it's made me grow as an individual,
Mhm.
just because it's something else that I have to take care of, that I have to, nourish, and that I have to grow, which in turns makes me, I have to nourish myself. I have to allow the growth for myself. And it's definitely, it's different. It's very different to feel that, and just to kind of see that as it progresses, because it's like at the end of the day, your business is your child. That's your baby. That's, you're gonna make sure it's where it needs to be, and that
Right.
it's growing how it needs to grow. So I feel like, yeah, pretty much similar to what you were saying as well. Um and I definitely just kind of feel like I want to make it like leave a mark, kind of,
Mhm.
create spaces for women like us, people like us who look like us, and just kind of be the change that we want to see in the world, because at the end of the day, it starts with us. So
Right.
that's where I'm at with it, you know.
Okay. That's exciting, and I can't wait to see where it's gonna go. Um, because modern artistry is gonna be like a household name. It's gonna be like one of them names where it's like all over the world. I'll be on TikTok and be like modern artistry lashes, because you have so many avenues that you can go in. As
Yeah.
far as like you can do makeup, you can do your own lash line. Like we can girl
Coming
really
soon.
like,
Hmm.
period, take this thing up. And you already know marketing, bam, 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 over
Yeah.
here. But again, the great part about this is on your journey, you're not alone.
Mhm.
Again, you have plenty of family who are invested in your journey, in your mission, in your business, and just to see you elevate. And again, every time I think about our family in particular, I just get so excited about how far I feel like our family has come. If people knew, if people seen that house on 110 Taylor Street, okay, and and how it was all, all of us used to pile up in their house, and
Mhm.
well, we had the birthday parties and the cookouts and the celebrations and everything, and how that one woman, that one person created so many lives, people
Yes.
and lives, and and how we out here doing the damn thing, and how
Doing
I know
everything.
girl doing it, and I know that she is looking at us like, look at them girls, look at my babies,
And
look
it's
at
so
them.
funny because when I came up with the name Modern Artistry, it was more so just because I feel like what I do is an art, and I'm very modern and minimalistic about it. And
Mhm.
so when I went ahead and made the brand a business, so it's Modern Artistry Aesthetics LLC. And as I abbreviate all my stuff, it's MAE.
Yeah,
So yes, that was, that came together very, and one day I was
perfectly.
like, wow, like, wow.
Right. And
Yeah.
so she is in everything that we do.
Mhm.
And again, it's just crazy to sit back and see it. And
Yeah.
even though she isn't here, it's like one of those things where we're doing the work now, But to be honest, like you say, you want to be a legacy, you want to leave your mark. You might not see it until it's gone. You might not never see it. That's the crazy part. But just knowing that the work you're putting in for your future, yeah, you're paving the way. And so that's just amazing to sit here and think about when I do talk to you, when I talk to Sade, about what it is that we got going on and what we're doing. It's just always nice to recall that that feeling. But before we go, I want you to go ahead and tell the people how they can connect with you, your social sites, like how can they get on that table at Modern Artistry?
So my social, so pretty much Instagram, Facebook, and Google, it's just Modern Artistry Aesthetics. And then my website is www.modernartistryaesthetics.com. So that is what I am on. And yeah, so, and I also think like if you do Google search Modern Artistry Aesthetics, it'll come up, and Apple Maps will come up as well. So I'm verified.
And that's on period. All right. So Maya, thank you so much for getting on here. To be honest, this is the most I've heard you talk, and you're 26. So y'all, when she said it was an introvert, she really meant it. She really meant it.
Introverted.
Yes, she meant it the most. You know, this is the most I've heard her talk. She's 26. So yeah. Thank you. And what I'm looking forward to the sleepover once we figure out a date.
I know, right?
And that's gonna be fun, a sleepover for the girls. But yeah, so if you are tuning in, whether you're watching this on YouTube, you're listening to it on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you are, thank you for tuning in today. And make sure you go follow, like, subscribe to both of us. And please leave feedback. I'm always looking for different ways to grow. And I'm also looking for other Black women to connect with so that we can hear their stories too. All right. So thank you for sitting with us, with me, Jess B, where you can heal wholly and live unapologetically. Thank you.